Reimagined, and it is the tail end of when she earned her freedom, because she had to have that first before she could do anything with anyone else. Just a couple of notes here so you understand where I am. When I say the word Mirador, it's a location in the book. Think Maryland. So anytime I say Mirador, Maryland. That's where she was, Dorchester County, right? When you hear the word Paisay, think Pennsylvania. That's where she wanted to go. That's where she needed to be. So Mirador, Maryland, Paisay, Pennsylvania. So we have that in our head. Keep that. So we're going to begin here. Harriet stopped before a stone home with a lit lantern in the window. Unlike when she'd unknowingly approached Norris's farmhouse, Harriet's heart did not feel like it would escape her chest, but it still raced at the negative response she could receive from the unknown homeowner. She knocked, cleared her throat, and spoke the words she learned from Norris. "I'm looking for a station. Might you point me in the right direction?" Harriet heard nothing on the other side, not even playing children or a startled pet. But a gruff voice was suddenly at the door. "Are you a parcel?" "Yes, sir." "Just you?" "Yes, sir." "Go round back." Harriet hid in the Dragonkin's root cellar that night and the following day. Wedged in a space barely large enough to accommodate a child Minty, Harriet made do and gladly helped herself to a few apples. Under the cover of darkness, Harriet left the Quaker settlement. Without crossing paths with Jondren, even so, she stayed at another station and met another conductor. Having never ridden on a train, Harriet didn't understand the use of such terms describing helping and hiding runaway slaves, but she grasped the word underground well enough, as in secretive. So Harriet continued, determined to make it to Paisay. Most days, she hid in swamps and wooded thickets. Come nightfall, she'd hunt a critter, a squirrel, or a small rabbit. A fire would have been nice, but Harriet feared it would attract unwanted attention. So she would shift into her bird form and devour her catch. Harriet plowed ahead, staying out of sight and walking with the purpose that came with being the daughter of Benjamin and Harriet Wren. She might have left them behind, but she refused to let the pain of losing another child be wasted on her failure. "I'll survive for everybody back home. I'll get my freedom. Everything I've done, every house I've worked in, every back-breaking field labor I've endured has prepared me for this. I don't see any railroad tracks, but I feel every mile of my journey. The passage has marked my blistered feet, set fire on my swollen tongue, and danced a jig in my growling stomach, but there's an invisible line, Minty," Norris had told her the day they set out for Dagar Station. "I've seen it myself. It's the dividing line between Mirador and Paisay. On the other side of the line is freedom." "I can't see no invisible line. How will I know when I get there?" "There are stone markers up and down what's known as the Dupta line. Those are the names of two dragons who helped settle the dispute between Mirador slave owners and Paisay residents after they abolished slavery. It's an 83-year-old history that has to do with border disputes. All you need to know is that the other side of those markers is freedom." Norris had removed a piece of paper from between the pages of a book. This first image is a crown. Some markers will have this at the top, but not all. This letter is an M for Mirador, and this is the letter P. The P will be on the passe side of the marker. That's it, Minty. I've told you everything I've learned from being a conductor. The rest is up to you. The rest was up to her. Harriet couldn't read. She'd never been taught because it was a crime to teach a slave to read and write. But she remembered much and forgot even less. She dropped to her knees. Trembling fingers lifted, paused, and slowly touched the stone marker before her. Her fingers ran over the smooth grooves of a crown carved into the stone. Below the crown was the letter M she learned from Norvis. Scooting to her right, she allowed her fingers to graze over the indentation of 4 numbers, 1766. Tears filled her eyes, and she thought her fingers would fall for how hard they shook. On unsteady hands and knees, Harriet crawled to the other side of the stone opposite the large M. There, more beautiful than anything she'd ever seen, was a solitary letter, P. P for Paise. P for freedom. Harriet collapsed onto her back, crying. She wept for the girl who'd endured unimaginable mistreatment, and for the wife, daughter, sister, aunt, and friend who'd been forced to abandon her family. I'm free. Thank you, Lord. I'm finally free. I'm finally free. But Harriet's freedom came at a tremendous personal loss. Her soul wouldn't rest until she brought every family member north. Because what was freedom without loved ones to share in God's emancipated glory?